Hey everyone, and welcome back to Master Sight. Today I have Game 3 of Lady of the Lake, where I'll be playing against Kyle Pietch and his Ogres. So, for those that didn't watch all of Game 1 or are unaware, Game 2 won't have a battle report. There was a issue with Donny Croche and availability, so that particular game was done on a universal battle in a pre-setting and was not something that I have the pictures or ability to make a battle report out of. So we're jumping straight to game three. So let's go ahead and get into the armies and the game. So Kyle is playing the Hell on Wheels Ogres. He's got all chariots all the time. So he's going with 2 legions of warrior chariots, 2 regiments of the boomer chariots, mammoth big deal. He has 3 sergeants with crossbows and chariots, and then the Hell on Wheels formation. 11 drops, 21 unit strength. Again, there's 25 points of magic items somewhere in there that I am not 100% sure on. So we are going to just go with what we got. The magic item, I don't think really made a difference. So we'll find out here. So this is the table we're on, and so these green thingies, they're actually forests. The other 3 things are impassable, and then there's a really long obstacle just right in the middle there. So, and this is Kyle, and this is Kyle actually looking at the camera. Yeah, so deployment wise, I should say scenario wise first. So I chose a scenario where we each start with the token in our armies, and that is each token's worth 1 point. But if you control both tokens, it's worth 3 points. So yeah, it's a little bit unique. Um, so yeah, I want to hold the token that I start with. He wants to hold his token that he starts with. Um, but then you jump straight up to 3 points if you have both of them. So the token you'll see is over on the right hand side, and the orange one is the one that he put. And then Kyle decided to play Kill, which is based off unit strength. And as we saw in his list, he only has 21 unit strength in his army. So he wants to kill a lot more goblins than I can kill of him. So on the far left, he has a sergeant with crossbow, another sergeant crossbow. This is the big deal. One of his boomers regiments with a horde of warriors behind. His knight champion. The other legion of chariots with the formation general mounted behind. I believe boomer chariots. Yep. And then both warrior chariots from the formation out here with a sergeant on the far right. So, and then we went with heavy right hand side deployment and to protect that token, try to shoot our way out of a corner here basically, and then go from there. So, 3 hordes of rabble, the regiment of rabble. We got a mincer here, which I started sideways, which is stupid. I should just face it forward because big shield. Chariots, and all 3 wingets, all 3 sharp stick throwers, which have a lane this way and that way. So, yeah. And then we got the other 3 hordes. We got all the war trombones, knight champions back here. We got our army standard bearer here. Magwa's in between here with all 3 of the other wizards, and the king on chariot on the far left there. I believe that's the one with the pipes of terror. So yeah, this is after both first turns. Kyle got first turn, moved up, shot a couple shots, did that. This is my turn. I moved up like so for positioning, and then I was able to get the wingets in range to shoot at this here, but they did crappy. They only did like 3 wounds. Um, yeah, even though they're hitting on force. So, uh, and then this is kind of part way through Kyle's first turn. Also, the bolt throwers all shot over here, but did nothing. So, yep. So Kyle says, "Let's go in and kill some goblins." So we came right on in, as you can see here. And yes, this is a mistake that should not be there. So, but yep, blocked off this horde, triple charge this one. Legion with the J boots coming over, came into this one, and he dropped his token for his warlord to pick up. So, and then he double charged this horde and charged this horde, which allowed then for the other one to see the character. The regiment couldn't charge the character because of the gap in between here, so he is just setting up for that. So he does kill that horde, even though he had hindered on one guy. His knight champions actually have Pathfinder, so he's fine there. And Mammoth or Strider. Thank you, Jesse. And then he killed the other horde. So let's hope shooting's better for this one. This round, he wavered this unit. We charged the flank. We go ahead and do just a nimble pivot to charge the flank here. Double charge the front. We're going to unload all of our shooting onto this guy, which is the only inspiring over here. So I'm hoping we can clean up this flank here in the next couple turns. And then, yeah, we just reposition awkwardly to where there's really only one legal charge for any of these things, and that's into this war trombone. His individual can't do an individual pivot to see my individual here because he's right up next to his unit, unless he backs his unit out, which we're fine with. So we went ahead and charged in here. His Knight Champion gives out Barkskin tokens, so my Cloak of Death counteracts that, basically. That's why you don't see some wounds out there. Anyway, so shooting. Did we kill him? We wavered him, maybe. We killed him. All right. We killed him. Yay. And then we got a triple charge here. We should be doing just fine, right? Nope. Okay. That was the only thing we killed. We put 9 wounds onto the Legion from all the war trombones and stuff. We did waver, I think, the guy out in the far left with the lightning bolts and everything. Yeah. So, but we played poorly. For some reason, I had it in my head that these green things were impassable. No, they're not. So he was able to do a nimble charge around with his character to come into the chariot. That's already taken some shots from the crossbows out here, so he's pretty weak. And then he brought the Legion in there, and he just countercharged in the middle here and repositioned. So, yeah, so we didn't do enough there. He countercharges, he comes in here, and then we did, yeah, that's right, 2 wounds total with a horde, a regiment, and a flank from a chariot king. Yeah, so he's just gonna countercharge that king who's already eaten a few wounds and kill him. So the other chariot king's dead on that side. Uh, they kill the war trombone and then pivot like that. He does roll a snake or a 3 to waver over here. Yeah. Yep. So this is yeah, he kills that king, and this is where what it looks like. He wavers this horde and this horde, I think. So yeah. So we are going over here. He did kill that. We're just throwing a little wizard up there, which his base is so deep and big he can't land on it. It's going to be tough for him to charge anything. Yeah, just making it more difficult for him basically. Magua charges in over here to this guy who's heavily damaged. The Knight Champion was able to escape. There's enough gap between these two guys. Individual pivot to look this way and then charge. So we're trying to protect him and get some value still. So that's what we do, and then we are going to open fire on these units here and hope that we can charge, and eventually this mincer will get in over here maybe. So we do enough wounds to kill this regiment. Yay. We did kill both chariots over here on the left. Yeah. So going into Kyle's turn, the yeah, it looks like this. So he just moves the Legion up and around. He charges the Mammoth into one of these guys. He's trying to take out the little wizards now. If he kills this wizard and rolls a 5 on the overrun, he gets into the Knight Champion, which will be excellent for him. So, yeah, we're hoping that doesn't happen. And yeah, so he goes in to try and finish this unit off. And yeah, that's just their blank base. So he does finish the unit off, turns this way, finishes that horde off. Now he's going to be looking at both of these guys. He was 1 inch short of the overrun. He rolled a 4, needed a 5. So yeah, he's sitting there. Yeah, and he kills everything else we expect him to kill. Um, So yeah, this game was literally he go in, he smash face, I shoot. That's all I do. I shoot. So sorry, there's not a whole lot of uh tactics, I guess, involved in these ones here. So I feel like maybe I'm speeding through it, but really that's all it ends up being. So this is partway through my turn, but I shoot off the chariots here, and then I was shooting at these chariots and got a waiver, I think. Or I actually got a waiver on this guy, I know for sure. So we do finally kill this unit. So we did secure our token over here, and there's nothing that can really get us behind this building, so we're fine. We're just running away over here. Oh yeah, the Knight Champion. I don't think we can really see it, but Knight Champion came into this Legion, which was pretty heavily damaged after a couple rounds of shooting over here. So he did his job, popped off, and killed that Legion, which is great. That gets us a battle point, basically. The token is still on this guy, so I ended up taking some lightning bolt shots and some other stuff. We do end up wavering him, which is extremely lucky because he's still in a line of sight for these bolt throwers to shoot him. And the wingets are coming in and around, so we're trying to get in position to be able to pick him off and take that token away. So to block that off, he brings the mammoth over, which blocks off bolt thrower shots anyway. Yeah, and forces us to deal with that. So he goes after the individuals. He kills the individuals as we expect, and then he reforms. Yep, he kills the war trombone and then reforms. And then at this point, I'm just looking. I'm like, all right, I just need to kill the guy with the token and take the token. So but we do focus fire on the mammoth, and do finish him off. So that's good. We do finish off this other heavily wounded boomer chariot unit. And the double charge, both hindered even. We take out the character, and he drops his token there. So this is what it looks like after top of 6. So Kyle moved. He only has these guys left over here, and they're going to try and prepare for turn 7 to try and fight back and take that token. So what I ended up doing is I double charge with both the individuals into here, and then use a winglet for a block off, and then the second winglet behind picks up the token. So we're perfectly even, so there's no charges. There was no turn 7, but even if there was, there's no way that Kyle piles through and kills to pick up the token. So that was the game. Funny enough, we each killed the same amount of unit strength. That last turn of shooting there really, or the last 2 turns, is when the goblins finally, caught up. He killed all but one of the hordes, so I think we were each at like 17 unit strength apiece. Um, Yeah, so it was a bloody game, but we you know he got first turn, which was huge. He just ran right at us, killed a bunch of stuff, which is big. We got a couple lucky waivers and kills when we needed it, but also some poor shooting to start the game. I think the first 2 or 3 turns, the shooting was really, really rough. We didn't pick up units as quickly as I was expecting or hoping, which delays the rest of the game plan. So but these wingets are just so good and so crucial to finishing off the game and winning a scenario. So we ended up tying on the kill points, which basically each of us got 1 point from that. I have both tokens, so I got 3 from that, so that's 4. Um, I think I did kill enough to get a +3 from Kyle for the kill. But then we look at who controls the terrain pieces, and you'll notice that, um, yeah, Kyle holds one, this forest, and I hold this thing here because I'm an idiot and just didn't move my one wing it here to be in range of that, and then I would get an extra battle point. But yeah, those are things that I think just not familiar with the. I mean, it's unique scenario play, right? And then also not terribly familiar with the army. So, just some minor things like that are definitely improvements, just obvious improvements. So, always be aware of your objectives, especially towards the later part of the game, and plan to try and accomplish that and get those objectives when you can. Um, so yeah, I'm understanding some of the frustrations that come with goblins, but I also feel like um, I I apologize for these games because one, I think the gameplay for goblins is somewhat boring. We're just we're shooting, and I'm not going to sit there and tell you every single unit that shot at every single unit and how much damage and whatnot. Try to make it very tactical, very high level overview of the game, and realistically, the Goblins' game plan is, pretty much the same every game. Just the rabble gets in the way, it blocks stuff up, it allows for you to have multiple rounds of shooting, and the shooting, gets a little bit of damage in early game, a lot of damage in middle game, and that hopefully wins the game. If not, enough stuff should be alive for instance, in this game, to pick up the last little bits of stuff you need to pull out a win, or in this case, it was a win, 7 points to Kyle's 4, maybe 5 even. But it's not as one sided as people necessarily think. The goblins kill a lot of stuff, but it doesn't add up to much still. I think the most killed against this army for the whole weekend was like 1,300 points. And reminder that the night champions were 200 points, so it's out of like 1,500 possible points. So somebody barely killed over half of this army one time. Otherwise, it was closer to like 1,000 kill points every game. So um, yeah, I mean, this is a terribly efficient army for shooting purposes, but that's really all it does is it points and clicks. And it does enough to win a scenario, but if the dice are good early on, it will steamroll an army and just massacre. But when the dice are bad, it still can just scrounge for a victory, which is what it felt like in this game. Um, so yeah, I'm not after one day of playing goblins, I'm not really enjoying it as much as I thought I might. So I'm definitely ready for a different army. But anyway, I will have 2 more games of battle reports here with the goblins. But sorry, I wish I had a little bit more in-depth insight into how they play and some tactics and stuff I picked up along the way. But they do what they do and they do it well, and that not much more to say about it. So But I appreciate you all for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.